Star Wars Battlefront 2 came out in 2017 and provided Star Wars fans with much needed content that was lacking from its 2015 counterparts, such as a single player campaign, being able to play multiplayer across all eras of Star Wars, yes, including the sequels, and including more heroes and villains to the roster to provide more replayability. Now, you may be thinking, well, if it had all of these qualities, then why is it viewed as such a controversial game? Well, my friend, that could be simplified down to two words: loot boxes. By making Battlefront 2 centered around microtransactions during its life cycle, really made the game suffer more than thrive, since it essentially became paid to win due to better blasters being made available in those loot boxes. It was primarily just cosmetics, but due to these specific weapons being made solely available in loot boxes, it angered the Star Wars community, and rightfully so, since it made it unfair for those who wanted to play the game without shelling out more money than they already had to purchase it. After some time in the game's life cycle, EA and DICE decided to make those blasters that were in loot boxes to be turned into milestones instead, which they should have done from the start, since that rewards the player for all their time spent in game rather than the amount of money they pour into the game. This can be seen when they included the Darth Maul Old Master skin in the game, which was obtained by getting 5,000 kills by any Darkside hero. It originally was meant for players to play as Darth Maul only, but since everyone and their mother was racing to get the skin and hogged him up their whole entire game, DICE decided to switch it to any Darkside hero so it could be more fair for those that are unable to play as him. It's the same thing with the Luke Skywalker Farm Boy skin, which required the player to obtain 5,000 kills as a light side hero. Both skins quickly became fan favorites, especially since they did not require the player to purchase them, but rather to invest their time into the game. What makes Star Wars Battlefront 2 so special is that it is most likely going to be the last Battlefront game we ever get, since plans for Battlefront 3 were scrapped a few years ago, and EA and DICE have no intentions on making it anymore. It sucks that they stopped updating Battlefront 2 as well, especially since we were robbed from having Ahsoka and Ventress in the game. Don't get me wrong, I appreciate that we have way more heroes and villains in this game in comparison to 2015's Battlefront. However, making BB-8 and BB-9E the last hero and villain we receive into this game is basically a slap in the face, especially since it was reported that the character mechanics for Ahsoka and Ventress were inserted into the game, but were ultimately used for one of the soldier classes that carries dual-wield blasters, the ISB agent. This screams missed opportunity, because Ahsoka and Ventress are arguably two of the biggest characters from the Clone Wars, and not including them when you have characters like Count Dooku and General Grievous is absolutely criminal. Where this game is a masterpiece is the way that the gameplay flows and the character movement is, since it feels more natural and smooth compared to 2015's Battlefront, which felt more rigid and cartoony. The difference is very apparent, especially with the way characters like Darth Vader and Luke Skywalker swing their lightsabers. In addition, they changed the mechanics of the game by making the heroes accessible by battle points rather than a drop system in-game. This made it easier for players that are good at the game by either completing the objectives or getting a good amount of kills that they could use these points quickly to become their favorite heroes. Another aspect of Battlefront 2 that I found to be great was the introduction of star cards, which provided players with boosts in either artillery or health, and the same thing with the heroes, where it either boosted their health or their abilities. I think it's a well-balanced system that allows more hardcore players to grind for the star cards that they find the most useful, and that they can upgrade with their skill points they earn when they level up each of their characters. These aspects alone made Battlefront 2 a more enjoyable gaming experience by also making it feel authentically Star Wars. The only thing I would say this game is lacking is not having Coruscant or Mustafar as playable maps, since those two were made available in original Battlefront 2, and seeing it absent from this game makes it feel like another missed opportunity that DICE should have followed through with if they really wanted it to compete with the original game. The single-player campaign is the one area I take issue with, mainly since the story is not all that memorable and is not a super replayable campaign. It is cool that DICE decided to add this for more content in the game. However, I feel like if they had just brought back Galactic Conquest from the original Battlefront 2 and remastered those maps instead, I'm sure it would have been 10 times more enjoyable and replayable, since that mode has become so iconic over the years. Other than that, Battlefront 2 is a solid Star Wars game that definitely still has its issues, but is not by any means a terrible game, but is rather just a flawed masterpiece. Thank you so much for watching this video, guys. If you did enjoy, then please make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you are new. Let me know in the comments what you think about Battlefront 2 and what you would have liked to have seen added to this game. Have a great rest of your day or night, and the Force will be with you always.